Welcome back to part 2 of my mid-year WIP parade. Um, I have a whole bunch of WIPs still to go through. I don't know that I've even gone through half of them. So, hopefully you've refreshed your beverage. I went and actually had lunch. I was kind of hungry. Took the dog out. He's a good dog. Yes, him is. Aren't you? You lay down. And we're going to go back at it. Now, these are all ones that survived last year's picks and a few that may have been new this year. I still have, by the way, a whole bunch in the hibernating because they're not technically UFOs. I just didn't pull them out to work on this year with no plans on it. There's a few that I've pulled over, and there might be still a few that I pull over later on in the year. But for now, these are the ones that I've decided to work on. I know I'll have new starts, but for right now, I don't have immediate plans for any, except for maybe one, and that would be Mirabilia's Tea. I was thinking about starting that one. That's the one off the top of my head. We'll see. If I do, I'll start it by the end of the month. All right. Earlier, I talked about two of... I thought this was in my kitted, and it's not. I talked about two of my 'Tis Halloween stockings that I did. And I haven't started another one, but this may be a new start soon also, because, you know, each one is an individual start. I am not doing all the stockings. I've picked out ones that I want, and I have a half yard of 30 count Weeks Dye Works Cocoa that I'm stitching them all on. So those are the two that I have finished. Oh, I did have another. I lied to myself. I did start one. I didn't realize I even started it. How about that? It's a good thing. So I'll probably finish that one this year then. But those are the two that I've finished so far. And then that's the next one that I started. I totally forgot about that. That one's called Who's Knocking at My Door? And I have the booklet, so I will show you what it's supposed to look like. What does it say? What page? No, I don't know. Page 27. There we go. That makes it easier. Page 27. No, that's not the page. Why does that say page 27? That's weird. Ah, that's the next page over. Okay. I don't even know if you can... Okay. Page 22. That's Who's Knocking at My Door. So that's the one I started. This is a little bit more stitch heavy than the others. Some have a lot of stitches, some don't have many, so that's fine. There's another one that I definitely want to do that's pretty stitch heavy, and that's Night Song. That's the one that's on page 27. That's another one that I plan on doing. So basically what I've been doing is I know what size I need, and I just measure it off and just mark it with a pen, because I'm going to cut it off anyway and make it into a small stocking, so it doesn't matter what I mark it with. Alright. I don't remember starting it. Oh well. That's a good thing. It'll get worked on this year, if not totally finished. Yay. Next up, Yoda. This one is by Valente Cross Stitch, and they were on Etsy. I don't know if they still are. I haven't checked lately, but this is what it looks like. It says, do or do not, there is no try. And I have it in my pattern keeper, makes it really easy. I am stitching this one on 32 count Joblin in Wedgwood Blue Dark, and it was dyed by Slovak Farm, from Laura from Slovak Farm, and this is where I'm at right now. He's good for good big block stitching. So usually when I work on him, I get a few hundred in at a time. I get 200 to 300 in at a time. I don't think I'll finish them this year, but that's fine. It is in a Star Wars bag, of course. And in my Doctor Who bag, I've got Good Neighbors. This is the one that I've ripped up because it's a big pain. Okay, so I can show you the edge. See, they give you enough space in between that you can rip it there, and it just makes it easier to manage. But this is Good Neighbors by Paula Vaughn, and this leaflet's from Leisure Arts. And I am stitching this on white Monaco. And this is how far I've gotten. I used to really like all the Paula Vaughns, and I think they're pretty. I just don't know. I don't want to do all of them. So I figured if I was going to do one, Good Neighbors would be it because it's my favorite. And Vicky from Reading and Stitching had it and sent it to me. So I started it. And this is how far I've gotten. The hanging bench, the swing, couch swing, it starts here. Alright. I have scanned this and put it into PDFs so I could read it in my Adobe Acrobat Reader and mark it off there to make it a little bit easier for myself. Color charts always give me fits. They're hard for me to read. And we have Clockwork Bird in this. I love hummingbirds. Look how pretty that is. This is a Panna kit. Clockwork Bird. I don't know. I don't remember if I changed out the fabric or not. Nope. It was kitted with even weave because you know most times they're not. But surprisingly enough, it is the kit even weave. And here's how far I've gotten on him. I've got a good bit of the full stitches done. I don't know. I think there's a little bit more full stitching down here for his tail, and then it's back stitches. There's some full stitches here for the wheel, and then his head, chest and head, and it's all back stitching from there. This isn't a focus for a finish, so it's whenever I feel like working on it. There's a few of them, and I also have the dragonfly. There's a beetle and a fish, and this clock also. Alright, moving right along. In animal back, look at these animals. They're a hoot. This is getting worked on next month. This is Lady and the Tramp. This was a gift from Vicky Reading and Stitching. It is a Disney Collections kit, and I changed it out to 32 count white Joblin because there's no way. And I'm doing it 2/2. And that's how far I've gotten so far. So this one will be pulled to stitch on for next month. Not sure where I'll go with it. When I look at the chart, I'll pick a spot and go. I wonder, did this one even come with fabric? I know it came with the threads. It came with 16 count Ada. Yeah, so I switched it out. Alright. In my Bob Ross bag, I've got Hedgehog House. That chart is in here. Build a picture. Hedgehog House is distributed by Lena Lawson, and the artwork is by Jean-Baptiste Monge, I think is how he says his name. I am always questioning my French because I've never had a French lesson, ever. I took Spanish in class. Hedgehog House. Here we go. He's cute. These charts are very hard to read. The grid lines are basically non-existent. They're such a pale gray you can't see them. There are fractionals. There's a lot of backstitching, so beware. And the charts are pricey when you can find them. This is being stitched on 32 count Peddler's Blend from Dames of the Needle. And that's where I'm at. So I have finished, I think, all the full stitches in the top page, and I started working on some of the back stitching so I could work my way down, and I feathered down into the bottom page. So you'd want to say it's halfway done, but there's a lot of stitches in that hedgehog itself, and I still haven't stitched on the guy, but the top portion's done, so I would say maybe a third of them. I am using the called for threads. When I stitch on him, he doesn't get a ton of stitches at once. My patience runs thin. This one is November Topaz Fairy from Mirabilia. And I will pull that picture. November is my birth month. So, here she is. I started her last year in February. I am stitching her on 28 count Butterfly T Lugana from Grace Hopes. I don't think I haven't stitched on her yet this year. I did a center start, and that's as far as I've gotten. That's it. So she needs some love. It'll get there. She'll get there. I think I'm more focused on getting the December one done because it's so much closer. So we'll see. She'll get worked on though. Definitely get something in this year. This is one that I'll be working on soon. Let me look at my book. I think it's being worked on, fandom. So for July, he's definitely getting worked on in July. For the Whippagories, fandom. Oh, no, you know what? November's getting worked on too. For haven't stitched in 2024. So look at that. Alright. So I'm speaking of the Doctor Who. I think it's just called Doctor Who. I don't know. That's what I call it. Doctor Who from Oh My Stitches Shop on Etsy. And he is being stitched on 32 count Dapple Belfast linen from Picture This Plus. And this is how far I've gotten. It goes into Pattern Keeper, so it makes it so much easier for me to count my stitches as I go along. And you can usually get a good block of stitches in there. So, cross your fingers I get him done this year. I'd like to see how many stitches are left total. You want to look? Let's look. I've got my tablet here. And it's actually charged because I plan on using it tonight. And come on, Pattern Keeper. Let's see how many total stitches I have left on here. I am 60.29% done with him. So I have 5,000 stitches done, 5,033. I have 3,315 stitches. Realistically, I could get them done next month. Realistically, I probably will not. But I will try to, let's just say I'll try to get a good chunk of them done because I'd like him done this year. How about that? And this is one of my early bags when I wasn't using the quality vinyl, but it's okay. It's still standing up to the test of time, so it still works. Next up is my Trick or Treat Halloween Fairy. It's the one that's in the what did I say it was in? It's in a magazine. Cross Stitch and Needlework, September 2008. So if you can get the magazine, she's in there. If you can't get the magazine, you can go to Hirschners.com. That's how you spell that, Hirschners.com. And I wrote down that at the time when I looked at it, it was $4.99 to download it. And you can download the PDF. That's Trick or Treat Fairy. She's a smaller Mirabilia. Let me see. She is being stitched on 32 count pictures plus fabric. Monster Mash Belfast. So it's a Belfast linen in the color Monster Mash. And there she is. So I've got the top portion overdone, minus the back stitching. And I started on her skirt. And the banner she's holding. Not sure when she's coming out again. She was started in September of 2008. That's wrong. She's in September 2008. I don't have a start date written down for her. I don't know. Maybe she's on my list. Maybe I have it on my list and just not on the card. Let's look, because why not? Halloween Fairy. I started her in 2020, November of 2020. Let's write that down on this card. I don't know why I didn't. Alright. Getting my poop in a group. I'm using all the called for threads for her, and I have the beads in Krynic also. Now we have one that I started, I believe, in February. This is from Shiny Suns Cross Stitching. Let Us Gather, artwork by Jody Bergsman. And this is being stitched on 25 count, easy grid, 2/1 half stitch. And that's how far I've gotten. I started it in February. I think we were doing like a full coverage February or something. I know I started a bunch. And I did 614 half stitches. Which, when you're counting them for challenges, the half stitches are only a half a stitch. But that means I'm doing 300 stitches for a challenge and getting 600 stitches in on the piece. So full coverage math means I'm getting better numbers on my piece because, how about that? Alright, next one is one that I know I started this year, and I believe I started it at the end of February, and it is this piece right here. I call it Butterfly and Moth, or Moth and Butterfly, I think. And it's one of those printed canvas ones, using all the called for kitted stuff. And I started this one in the corner, and just block by block. So that's how far I've gotten, just the corner, and I'm working my way. One good thing about the Nerds is I can get towards the edges, so to put it in there. Otherwise I have to hold this in hand when I'm too close to the edge. Again, if you get any of these, obviously you want to make sure it's not one of those copywritten ones, and also know that you're not going to get the detail in it. I know I'm not going to get the detail. It's just good mindless stitching that you don't have to look at a chart. That's the way I look at it. This one is Heartstring Samplery's Scary Sampler. A bunch of us started this one last year. And there are a lot of pop culture references and book references on this. This is being stitched on 40 count linen from Vicki Clayton. It doesn't have a color name. And I am not using the called for colors. I know I've subbed in whatever I had to, and that's fine. But that's how far I've gotten so far. Got one letter in, some demigorgons, and I finally got an alien head seed pod. Yay. Not sure when I'll be stitching on this one again. I guess when the categories strike. I do like it though. Is there anything? Now, if you're not into that kind of stuff, but you sort of like the house and the willow tree type look, she did do another one that was more her prim style. So check it out. This one is Winter Hot Cocoa from Madame Chantilly. This is the one I'm not doing the lettering on. I just want to do the animals and probably put some snowflake charms. I just think the animals are cute. This one's being stitched on the other portion of my 32 count Lugana Diversity from Mystic Fabrics. And I'm using DMC. And that's how far I've gotten so far. Some little squirrely's done. I started the hedgehog and part of the fox. This is not hard to stitch on. It's pretty cool. Trying to see. Yeah, the page break is in the middle of the squirrel's body, basically where it says hot. So like there's a page break there. I think I was trying to figure out why I stitched it the way I did, and that's why, because there's a page break. It always messes up my whole zen. Alright. This one is one that I'm stitching with a couple of people. Megan Stitchame and Sarah, my Stitching Kingdom, and there's a few of us. I think my BFF Gina's stitching it, and Sammy J. And this is Love Bugs. It's from Tell and Emblem. I am not putting the charm on there. I'm just gonna follow through with the border, and I am doing it this way. I know a few of them are doing it horizontally instead. And I am stitching this on a piece of Fabric Flare fabric. I wonder if I wrote it down. Probably not. I forget the name of it. I don't know that it had a name because it was a fabric of the month from my fabric party. And here is how far I've gotten. I've gotten most of the butterfly done, and I'm using DMC. It looks like I need to do the flowers in the corners and then the outside border that goes around there, and then I can move on to the next square. Not bad, not bad. I like it. I just don't feel the need to stitch on it more, but it'll get done eventually. So far, guys, I'm not coming across too many that I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get back to this. Alright, I recently stitched on this one. This is my grapes pillow. This is a design from Donna Vermillion Giampa, and it's from the Just Cross Stitch magazine 2000, February of 2000. And I've already done lemons, limes, and more. And I'm going to do more of her pillows. As I finish one, I'll start another one. I even made a grapes bag for it. And here is where it is. Let me move Speedy out of the way. I started in that top left corner, and I'm still working in it. There are blends in it. There's no fractionals, but there are blends. And I just work a little bit at a time. I'm not hating on it. I actually enjoyed working on it the last time I worked on it. I probably need to try to, maybe next year, I can try to work on this every month. Maybe make that one that I do at least 100 stitches on a month. Since I want to do more of them. The more I work on it, the more I'll get done, the more of the pillows I can do. I need to finish the pillow, FFO the pillow, that I've already finished. Got the fabric, it's just, I haven't found a pillow form. I think I just want to go to the thrift store. Because they're expensive. So I think I just want to go to the thrift store and buy a pillow there and just cover it with what I have. My next one, I do want to stitch on this one more, which I have stitched on it recently. And that is Daughter of Africa. I pulled this out of hibernation. She is being stitched on Scorched Rock from Fabric Flare instead of the Ada that was provided from Panna. It was a kit, and it's an even weave. It's 32 count, and there she is. I'm trying to figure out why those, I must have ran out of thread. I must have done like a thread chicken thing and ran out of thread right there, so I need to fill that in. But I did get a good bit done on her the last time I worked on her. I'm happy with it. Very happy with it. And I'd like to get more done. It's one of my pride bags. Well, African pride bags, I should say. I did it for Black History Month. I made them. Oh my goodness. Get in the bag. This one I definitely need to get better progress on. I finally made him a bag, by the way. And that is Meep, my beaker. This is from Fiddlesticks AU on Etsy. She has, if you watch me, you know I did Kermit, I did Miss Piggy, and started Meep, and I had Megan Stitch and May make the, not make, but dye the fabric for me in the colors that I needed. And now I gave her the fabric for Fozzie because I think her name is Angie, the designer, came out with a Fozzie. So I got the fabric for Megan, and I told her now I need Fozzie's colors. So I need to get her to do that, so when I finish him, I can start Fozzie. And here is where he is. So I finished the word Meep, and I started on his big old nose. And I'll probably continue with the nose into the eyes and then the hair, and then probably move back down. Good block stitching. So it should, I think the reason why I ended up not stitching on him more is because I know I'm not going to have the fabric for Fozzie right away. Matter of fact, I have to remind Megan. She's probably forgotten. Megan. Not like you had your appendix out or anything. Or work for a living or have a kid. Who also had his appendix out. Next up, You Belong to Me. From Long Dog Sampler. I am stitching this on 32 count linen. It's just linen. I don't have a color. And I am using Silks for You PR 168. Loving the blue. I also bought Sulky's 1070, and it's the, hold on, because I can't see. I think it's the number 12 Sulky, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll use single strand because I want to do the pyramids in the Sulky, but everything else in the blue. And here's where I'm at. I have not made it all the way over to the side yet. It's okay. When I do work on this, I get a lot done. So I'm not even mad. I just need to pull it out more often and get some more stitches in. And that is in this Egyptian bag. I even have this cool zipper. I love the zipper pulls I made for that. And here is another Mira. This one's called Garden Prelude. She's got a huge dress. I am not stitching the arches on her. I am stitching her on 32 count Northern Lights from Fabric Flare though. So I'm not doing the flowers or the arches. Just stitching the gal. And she is very slow going. So this is what the fabric looks like all open. It's like a Aurora Borealis look. And I started at the back because I need the placement of the dress where it needed to be. So she was actually on the shore and not floating somewhere. And this is how far I've gotten. She's got a lot of dress, guys. A lot of color changes, some blends. Nervous some blends with a big old dress like that. But she's looking good. I need to get some stitches in on her this year. I don't know how many I've gotten, if any. She's overdue. So I don't ruin my charts. I put them in this Pendaflex folder. It's like a love-hate relationship. Usually I'll pull them out first, but when I'm doing showing all of them, they're not getting all pulled out. This one is the bookshelf from Little House Needleworks. It is being stitched on 32 count Lamb's Wool Jobelin. And I'm using the called for colors. And I'm using Diamond for the gold though. And here's where I'm at. So the last time I stitched on this, I do believe I just worked on books. Trying to get the books done. Because there's going to be a whole bunch of flowers and leaves in here. I made a keychain into a floss holder. Jaylon, give me that. Alrighty, we have the Supernatural bag is holding Away We Ride from Blackbird. It's being stitched on 40 count hazelnut cream by Grace Notes. Away We Ride. That's what it's going to look like, more or less. And here's where I'm at. Guys, I think that's like over 1,000 stitches already. Little 40 count stitches, 1 over 1. No, 1 over 2. Full cross. And like I said, I think I am using the called for colors. Maybe I'm not. Let's look. Because I do a working copy and I write on my working copy. I lied. Absolutely lied. I am using one of the DMCs instead of General Arts Onyx. I'm using 3 of the called for General Arts. And then I threw in Weeks Dye Works for all the others, I think. So I lied to you. I am not using the call for colors. Apparently I went stash diving. Which is absolutely acceptable. And I'm using the thread keep that came in my Halloween box last year. Is it? No, it's not. This is actually a thread keep that I made for myself. This is similar to the one that was in the Halloween box, though. It's one of those safety pin ones. Alright. Last one from this row, and then I have a whole nother row, and we'll be done. Told you it was going to be another hour. This, I'm actually getting the itching to stitch. Here's one I'm itching to stitch, and that's because I just finished the other ink circles, so why not finish yet another? And that is Henna Mandela, which is my hashtag BFF sale. Gina and I are both stitching this with the same thread, different fabric, and it has given us fits. She's had to restart it 2 or 3 times. I am stitching. I did not restart mine, but I've had to pick it out a few. This is being stitched on 32 count Georgia Peach Cobbler from Dixie Sampler Fabrics. I don't think she's making fabrics anymore. I don't know. Haven't heard about her in a long time. But here is where it's at. The top half is almost totally finished. So I'd say I'm about halfway done because I got some of this done too. So just about halfway, almost maybe, kind of. But I'm happy with it. I chose this fabric because it reminds me of skin color. And we chose the thread because it looks like henna. And that is Silks For You PR067. PR067. So if you want to do a henna color, have at it. Alright, let's grab these ones. Told her there's a whole nother stack. I have one of those 3-tier carts, and the top tier I have the board insert, so I can use it as a stand for my Cricut machine. And the bottom 2 hold my project bags, and I stand them up. That's how they fit in there. So I have 2 rows of those. All right. Right after I finish these, I'm going to show the giveaways that I'm going to do, that I'll pull for my next video. Just so you know, in case I didn't, I think I said I was going to do that, but I don't remember. This one I don't have the picture of, but you can look it up. It is Plum Street Samplers, 12 Days of Christmas. If you do a Google search for 12 Days of Christmas Plum Street Samplers, it should take you to her blog spot, because that's where that freebie is. It's totally free, all 12 days. I am stitching mine on 40 count Oaken Linen from Picture This Plus. I started it in November of 2020. And it is an easy stitch. I don't know why I don't have more done. It's only a few colors, and that's how far I've gotten. I know J Long's mom started and finished it. It looked so cute. I meant to pull this out for one of the categories, I think, last month, and I ended up pulling out 12 Days Santa instead. Maybe it was for this month. So I just went with it because I already had it out. Oh well. Stuff happens, yo. This next one is a Joan Elliott. And I keep on calling it the wrong thing. So let's pull the chart out. It's either the dragon and the fairy, or the fairy and the dragon. The dragon and the fairy. There we go. This was a gift from Belinda, Aussie Stitcher. And we did a birthday start, my birthday, not hers, of her. And I am stitching mine on 32 count fabric flare in Electric Wisps. And this is how far I've gotten. Belinda sent me the needle minder too, so I kept it with it. That's how far I've gotten. I think it looks really good on this fabric. I was really happy to have that fabric. And since it's a coffee cup, I put it in a coffee bag, and I do believe Belinda has one of these bags. Speaking of another coffee bag, this one's going to be Halloween Town from Madame Chantilly. This is the one that I definitely need to just pull out and finish, because I'm actually chopping off a good bit of it. I've decided I'm not going to do the whole town. I'm doing a section, and I will show you what I mean. Where'd you go? You are. Alright. So I decided I don't want to do the whole town. But I do want to put some of the elements in there. So I want to put the skeleton in there. I want to put at least one of the witches and a star and a tree. Okay, I am stitching this on some no-name fabric. No, it is a name fabric. I thought it was the no-name one. Okay, it's on 32 count Lush Meadow from Names of the Needle. And here's where I'm at. So, I have got, let's refer back to the picture. I've got this building that I'm finishing up, right? And I started this one. So I do believe I want to do, maybe put the skeleton there. I'm not sure. I'll decide. I may stretch it out to there, to the skeleton. But I'm not going to go over here and do this side. And I'm going to move one of these two witches over and at least have one star. And I may see if I extend it out to at least here, I can put a witch and the cat on a broom and a star. But that's about it. That's all I want. I don't want the whole thing. Just not feeling it anymore. But I think if I do it like that, I think it'll be cute. Alright. There's another Halloween one. This one's called Halloween Quaker. It is from Lila's Studio. And I am stitching it on 40 count Seltzer. It's a 40 count Verdal. Color name is Seltzer. And it's from Grace Notes Primitives. Grace Notes Fabrics. Oh my goodness. Stop trying to do 3 things at once. Halloween Quaker, where you at? Where you at? Lila Studio. Here we go. That's what it'll look like when it's done. Or close, anyway. That's what the design looks like. And here is where I am at. Basically the first motif. I am using all but one of the called for. I changed the honeycomb to Weeks Dye Works Curry because I just didn't have it. But it's looking good so far. And I only worked on it like 2 days. Or at least 2 different sessions. It's one of my newer starts. Alright. This is the one that I'm trying to give away a chart. Nobody wanted it from the last one, but it'll go back into the giveaway this time. And then if not, then I'll just send it to the thrift store, I guess. But this is called I'm trying to think of the name. The year 1940 Indian. It's from Stony Creek. The one I'm doing is this one. Alright. It's in the Vintage Cycles leaflet. But it was also in their magazines. And I was giving away the magazine version. So I'm doing the called for threads because it's all DMC, and then there's some metallics, and I think I just pulled something that was close. So almost all the called for. And this is on 32 count Belfast in the color Wren from Pictures Plus. And that's how far I've gotten. It's a pretty easy stitch. I was surprised how much I can get done in a sitting. And I even made a motorcycle bag for it. Oh, this is what I'm doing for my son. He wanted me to do where is it? It's not a crack house, it's a crack home. He came up with some idea, and he asked me to do a cross stitch for him. So of course I said I would. Oh, come on. Because I don't have a picture of it. I got it off of Etsy. And I didn't print out the picture. Because I put it in the pattern keeper. Okay, no, I just lied. It's not in Pattern Keeper. It's in Markup XP. Why does this always take so long? The Markup XP only has the chart also. Hang on. You ever just get on your own nerves? I do all this time. Here we go. I had a screenshot. It's not a crack house, it's a crack home. And I had started it, and that's how far I've gotten so far. says Craft Hole. I got that from Live and Die LA. And this is just going on some simple Ada. I think it's called Dove with DMC. We're getting there, guys. Winter Sampler. This is one that I started with my friend Holly. She's got the fall, the autumn. I've got winter. It's a Janlin kit. I am not using the called for fabric because there are specialty stitches and it was Ada. So I pulled out 28 count flax cashel linen from I don't know where. I don't know the designer of it. It doesn't say. Might be Witch Holt, but that's how far I've gotten. I'd like to get out of that corner. I wish I didn't start in that corner. I don't know why I did. Who knows? I should have started at the top corner, but it's fine. I'm not. There's no way I'm going to lose count and try to move over too far from anywhere. So I am where I am. I am what I am. This one, Sebastian actually beat me in one thing and has already finished the Bee Comes from Lila's Studio. But that's okay. I am stitching this one on 32 count doubloon linen from Picture This Plus, and I'm not using the called for threads. I used whatever I had that would be good enough. And this is how far I've gotten on it so far, though. So I've got a good bit of it done. The border is a lot more stitches than you'd think it would be. Here's one I need to work on. I have thought about this one, and I really need to work on it because I've only gotten, I think, January done so far. It's pathetic. It's just disgraceful. And that would be Friends and Family Sale from 2020 from Fox and Rabbit. I am stitching mine on 36 count Vicky Clayton fabric, one thread over two in Silks for You PR 152. And again, I only finished January. It's just pathetic. But I was thinking about this the other day. I really like the thread fabric. I really like the thread color. And I am not putting in any of the initials. I don't know if I will, but I'm going to do it all without initials, and if I decide to put in initials later, I always can at a later date. Alright. This is my Native American Angel. It is a chart from American School of Needlework, and it's a design from Barbara Batts. It is being stitched on 32 count Navajo Treasure from Fortnite Fabrics. And they're kind of hard to find, guys. But this is what it looks like. And here is where I'm at with her. I think she looks pretty good. I've had to do some frogging because I put the wrong color, but it happens. Frogging happens, tadpoling happens. That's all on DMC, by the way. There might be some metallics. Alright, I've got another long dog sampler. This one is called Anzac. And this one is being stitched on 28 count black even weave 1/1 with thread from Rami Creations called Arrow McCall. And here is where I'm at. It's been slow going. I've had several mishaps and had to pick and recount and adjust, but we're getting there slowly but surely. I really do like those colors on the black. I like the way they pop. And I like Romy. She's great. If you ever get to a galleria or even a market, she's usually there. And go and say hi to her. She's very nice. Alright. There's some Pride cupcakes. This next one is called The Baker's Wife, which is AKA the Happy Hooker. She is being stitched on 32 count Memory Belfast from Picture This Plus. And I have her sister. There she is. I have not worked on her too much. Not because I hate her or anything, it just hasn't been in the cards. I tend to like all the Mirabilias, but then there's lulls in between my stitching on them. So I do believe that's her skin and the start of the dress. Let's see. Yeah. Her skin and the start of the dress. Doesn't look like much, guys. It'll be fine. Alright, next up. We have one from Silver Creek Samplers and another Pride bag. Silver Creek Samplers, Seeds of Freedom. Seeds of Freedom is being stitched on 40 count mystery linen, because I don't know, I think it's like a permanent linen. And it's being stitched 2/1 with not the called for threads, whatever I could find that matched good enough. And that's how far I am. Oh, let's get the whiteboard behind this one. It'll show through better. And that's how far I got. Doesn't look like much, but that's a lot of stitching, guys. The 40 count is always so tiny. But it's petite and pretty. You think I would have picked this to stitch this month, or at least for Juneteenth or something. I don't know why I didn't. I have another heartstring samplery. This one is called Say Coffee. I actually have a cup. And that's what it looks like. It's being stitched on the called for 36 count hog bristle linen from Fox and Rabbit. I'm stitching 1/2. I think I'm even using the called for colors. Am I? Am I crazy enough like that? I am. I even got the called for colors for this bad boy. And here is what it looks like. I'm really enjoying the stitch on this, and I've already told her. Her model stitch does not have that little coffee cup on it. She didn't even realize it. But it looks really good. I gotta find a category to fit this one in. Ooh, I just stitched on this one not too long ago. This is At the Met. This was another gift from Belinda. I'm using the called for threads. And it's being stitched on 32 count Lugana. Colors, I think it's Sonatina is how it's pronounced, I think. And it's from Grace Notes Fabrics. And here's what she looks like. I started her last year in February. And here's where it's at. This is the one where I complained because the similar symbols. It just really ticks me off. And even, I don't think she's a stitcher, Nora, but even if she's not a stitcher, she's been doing this long enough. And if Witch Hilt's the one that's actually putting out the charts, you think they'd have the decency to change the symbols so we could read it better. Sometimes I think Witch Hilt just does not care. As long as they're making money, they don't care. That's how they make me. That's the impression they give me, anyway. Kind of ticks me off if you haven't noticed. I mean, these charts aren't easy to stitch as it is, and then there's a big wheelie piece of paper. At least make it distinguishable, right? Alright, this one I did put some love in recently, but it obviously needs a lot more. And it is the Haunted Library Cell from Lola Crow. This I started not last November, the November before, in 2022. And it's on 32 count Shrekie's Tan by Needle Bling Design. I'm using the called for DMC, and I'm also putting in some glow in the dark bits. So I showed this recently, so you should, if you watched, you'd know that I started on the bookcase. Not sure how I'm going to tack the next parts. You know how I am. I'm just either going to do it or I'm not going to do it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll go down the steps. Who knows? I don't even remember if I have all the parts in there or if I'm going part by part the way it was released. I have no clue. Because I bought it after it was all done. After it was all released. I put it in this bag. I love this fabric. I have more of this fabric. I think I can make more bags. Maybe more towards Halloween I'll make more. They didn't even actually go over too well. I thought they would go over better. I mean, every time you look at it, there's a different scene on it. This next one you saw recently, if you watch me. And that is Luna Mystica from Bella Filipina. I am stitching her on 32 count Mermaid Sea. It's linen from Under the Sea Fabrics. And I have reached the top of the moon. It's the very tip of the moon. There's a few full stitches in here down towards some flowers, but I'll have to do some other stitching first. And I made my way around this way, and there's a lot of beading in here. So I think I'm just trying to get the moon done first, and then I'll work on her. I'll probably move back up and start with the top of her head and move down. But that's what it's looking like so far. I do want to do Sol Tropica, the sister one that goes with it, and then I have another one that I bought. Triton. I can't remember what it's called, but she's got she's on a throne, and she's got seashells and dolphins, and it's really pretty. It's huge. All right, Tired Trio. I have not worked on this much because this is one that I'll usually use if Sammy's called her categories and I don't have anything to fit. I would then use this one, or if I don't want to do that category, I would use this one instead. It's like my sub. I'll sub it in with this one. But so far I've been going pretty decent with the categories. And this is called Tired Trio. It's from Plum Street Sampler. I have a bunch of the stacks that she's made. And this one's being stitched on fabric. 28 count even weave. It's called PB&J from Fortnite Fabrics. And I'm not using the called for threads. I'm using a lot of, some of them, but others not so much. I think in the reds and pinks are not called for. But let's move this piece of thread. How about that? That's how far I've gotten. And my needle minder's upside down. That works. I have a bunch of them in this bag. So after I finish this one, I'll just pick another one to kit up. Let's see them real quick. I have Raccoon Rabble. I've got Rack Stack. One of these has got threads in it. Llama Lump. I've already got the, yeah, it's got the threads in it, so I've already got the working copy. And then Cowpile. Got the working copy ready for that one. I have a couple more, believe it or not. I just don't have them all in here at once. Alright, this one I know I don't have a picture of because it's from 2x2 Stitch Art, and they're pretty bad about giving you a picture when you buy. And they're downloadable. I just call it Dragon. Let me see if I have a picture that I stole from their site. Yeah, a screenshot. I just call it Dragon. And I started it for the Year of the Dragon. And I am stitching it on 28 count Venus and Serena from Fortnite Fabrics. And I'm stitching it 1/1, which is plain old 310. DMC 310. Pulled off my Cone of Doom. And it was a very slight start. I don't know how many stitches I got in. 300 stitches total so far. But I love the way it's looking. I love this fabric. Let's finish up, guys. Let's finish up. This one's The Wizard of Oz, and it is from the Little Stitcher on Etsy. I have a bunch of her different charts in this series. I've already finished Alice in Wonderland. This one's being stitched on 32 count Kale from Vicki Clayton's Hand Dyed Fibers. And that's how far I've gotten. After this one, I think I want to do Addams Family. And it uses DMC. It's an easy stitch, and they're pleasant. Alright, we've got another one from Janine McGowan. Blue Flower. Because I have it. I bought the PDF, but I had the hard copy first, and then I bought the PDF. So I could put it in my Pattern Keeper, but this is Moonlight Sampler. And it's being stitched on 40 count grayish purple, hand dyed by Rolanda. I had been searching for the perfect fabric, came across hers, and loved it. So I ordered that from Canada. And last time my goodness. This time I worked on it, I was able to finish the dog and the girl. So we'll see where we go next. Love this fabric. This is going to be cute. I want to get to the possums. I should have started the bottom then. Well, I also did not go by all the called for threads. It looks like I did a lot of substitutions. Alright, this one I showed recently. I worked on him, I believe, in May. And that is Vader, and it's by Stitchline. They're now called Stitchery or Stitcheria. Again, I'm still not sure how they're pronouncing it. And it's being stitched on 36 count Vicky Clayton fabric. I'm stitching 1/2. And it goes in Pattern Keeper. So that is pleasant. And here is where I am. Not bad. I could be a lot further, but I could not be a lot further too. It could be worse, it could be better, right? And this is in yet another Star Wars bag that I have, that I recently made. Because he doesn't have a lot of threads, and I had him in that big bag. So I moved into a smaller bag, and I put my Waterhole Guardians in the bigger bag. This is a new start that I just showed in one of my recent videos, and that is Seaworthy Sampler from Teresa Kogut. This was available exclusively at Stitch West Retreat for a while, and she's since then released it. But I got mine from Sarah's mom, Carrie, who was not going to stitch hers. So thank you, Carrie. And I started with... Is it upside down? No, it's not upside down. I started with the mast. With the sail. That's... because you can't see the mast. It's the sail of the sailboat. Little bit. It is 40 count. It's always going to look a lot less than what it is when it's on 40 count. And I put that in this mermaid bag that I just made. I think I just sold out of those. Alright, this guy I just worked on also. Oh, we only have 2 more. This one and 1 more. And then I'll announce my giveaway. And then we'll be done. Alright, so I call him 12 Days Santa. What do they call him? They just call it 12 Days. I call him 12 Days Santa because I have the 12 Days of Christmas. And it's a Jim Shore. It is distributed by Design Works. I don't know if they're still available or not. I got my kit from Vicky Reading and Stitching, and I put it on 28 count Monaco from Charles Craft. I figure I'd just go with white. It's so busy anyway, and it needs the white background because of the quilt motif. And this is how far I've gotten so far with it, guys. It looks so good. I'm really happy with it. I did start some of the back stitching. I'll need to do more as I get in there. And last but not least, another Autumn Lane Stitchery. And that is Dark Queen of the Earth. I recently pulled her out of hibernation because I think I did. I'm almost positive I did. Just because I have both earth, and sea, and I hadn't finished part 1 of her. She needed to be worked on. I am using the called for threads and the 32 count Nightshade Lugana from Under the Sea Fabrics. You could choose from 2 different colors. I chose the green instead of the brown. And this is how far I've gotten. So I'm close to getting part 1 done. She'll come out again this year. She should. Alright, so 2 hours of me showing stuff. I'm tired, my back hurts, just so you know. It's alright. It's alright. I chose to do this, right? I was feeling antsy. I already told you who won. This time we are going to go with, how many charts did I choose? 5 more, because I'm doing 1 over again. We will recap Wisconsin Stitcher, WISC Stitcher. I have your address, I know I do. I just have to look it up to remind myself of your name. First, matter of fact, you get the summer one. Diane Boehm, DIANNBOEHM. I don't recognize your name, so I will need your name and address. Dawn Frosty X Stitch, I gotcha. Dawn, Enchanted Stitching, I have your address. So let's get into the new giveaways. We'll go again. 1941 Indian motorcycle. Why does mine say 1940? Let's compare them real quick. Either way, I'm not doing it twice, even if it's just slightly different. But morbid curiosity. Where did it go? I know I put it back. Okay. Alright, so it's not the same exact, and that's fine. Here's the okay, so this one's the 1941 Indian motorcycle, and there's the 1940. Subtle differences. There's a difference. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Because I'm doing the one out of the booklet, I wouldn't have stitched both of them. Anyway. But this is the one I'm giving away. So, if you would be interested in stitching this motorcycle, keyword is going to be Indian. All the giveaway rules. Don't say giveaway, don't say win. Use the keywords, be over 18. I'm going to need your address, and I'm not going to beg, so, you know, just answer, and I will send it out. Here is one, The Tree of Life from The Good Housewife, and the keyword's going to be life. Here's the design, by the way. Another, The Good Housewife. And this is Deerfield. So the keyword's going to be Deerfield. And there's how to spell it. D-E-E-R-F-I-E-L-D. Deerfield. It's summertime. Let's go with some Florida lighthouses. So if you're interested in stitching the Florida lighthouses, and technically it is a lighthouse because it saves sailors all the time. Anyway, lighthouse is going to, all one word, lighthouse. Keyword. This one's called Fanny and Lucy, a Russian sampler. And because I'm me, keyword's going to be Fanny. F-A-N-N-Y, Fanny. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making it this far. If you have, I will be uploading 2 separate videos. So if you saw this one and didn't realize, there's a first half. I should be back in 2 weeks. I'm surprised I got it done on a Wednesday. It just so happened that I was ready to go and rare to get it done. And I will see you in another 2 weeks. I hope everyone's doing well. Don't forget, don't let anyone steal your sunshine. Bye.